What's good, y'all? It's your boy Lazarus, back at it again with another video. And today, we're gonna get into pretty much a reaction video to a woman's breakdown of why men in like the manosphere that's teaching or telling women and telling men about dating is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's pretty much breaking it down, like, why they are wrong. Whether it be the guys that are telling you what you want to hear, like Derek Jackson and freaking I forgot the other dude's name. The dude that wrote Think Like a Man. That and Kevin Samuels and other men that help out with dating. She pretty much trying to break it down how they're wrong. And I'm gonna get my two cents out of it, you know what I'm saying, during the video. But yeah, man, this is gonna be a doozy. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and follow me on the gram if you want me to react to any other video game. Gaming. I don't know why I'm thinking about gaming right now. Any other videos you guys want me to react to that relate to like dating or stuff like that. And gaming, I may get into it, you know what I'm saying? I got the Kingdom Hearts shirt, I'm rocking that, you feel me? So, it is what it is. 7 weeks I won't. But we're gonna get to this one real quick, you know what I'm saying?
If there's anything that I admire about Black women in 2021, it's your commitment to self-improvement. The manosphere loves to say that couldn't be further from the truth. You fill the seats at every women's empowerment. Women don't like accountability, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You fill the seats at every women's empowerment summit and TED Talk. You're buying all of the self-help books. You spend 9 times more money on beautifying yourself than your non-Black counterparts. You're obviously trying to create a better version of yourself to present to the rest of the world. And it's paying off. I guess when you're at the bottom of the social ladder, the only way to go is up. And clearly, we understand the assignment. We love self-improvement. We love us a good expert, a good life coach. We'll pay top dollar for the wisdom that we know that we need. I most certainly have, and it was worth every dollar and dime. Black women, the world is watching your ascension in awe and admiration. But there seems to be one.
Let me say this one time and one time only. Nobody is watching. I hate it. I truly do hate it when the woman, our woman, actually think people care. Nobody cares. I'm here to tell you that right now. Nobody cares about your improvement. The only person that should care about that is you. Stop trying to one-up everybody because you feel like everybody degrades Black women or look down upon Black women. No. People look down upon the character that they present. So if you present some type of character, they'll look down upon it. Of course, that's how society rules you in while you're in high school, middle school. But when the real world hits you, 18 and up, it's just how you present yourself. Nobody truly cares after that point. Crazy, right?
One subject on your report card that's consistently getting a big fat D, as in dating disaster. Many of you are in terrible relationships, and even more of you aren't in relationships at all. For some, this is by choice, but for many of you, there's something very wrong happening. And it doesn't make any sense because you're buying all of the dating books, you're watching all of the dating gurus. I was in a room on Clubhouse last night talking about resting in your femininity, and it had almost 600 Black women in the audience listening to men tell them to learn to submit. I've never had any one of my Asian friends mention a dating book that they were reading. I've never heard of a dating coach for Latin women. I guess white girls have The Bachelor and they do have a few dating coaches, but their single rates are dwarfed by yours. And I've never seen a Clubhouse room with 620-something-year-old white women trying to figure out how to get a quality man. Now, I've heard all of the modern day complaints.
You know the reason why that is? It's simple, man. Latina women, white women, Asian women, and I'm going to include those men as well, they know their duty in a relationship. Shocking, right? They're not playing around. They know exactly what they need to do to keep a relationship because they listen to their grandparents or great grandparents.
That black men have about black women. They do make a few points, but if you let them tell it, you're all single because you're fat, masculine feminists with standards that are way too high who won't submit.
That is somewhat true. Don't get me wrong. That is somewhat true. But the big part is duty. I'm going to stress this more than enough, but it's duty. Some of y'all standards are ridiculous because you didn't even grow up in that sense. How on earth should you be expecting such a lavish lifestyle when you didn't even have it growing up? That's where the ungratefulness comes in for me, because you didn't even have it growing up. So why the heck are you expecting it from a man that you never even know? When your parents that you known for 18 years all the way till you were grown couldn't even provide that for you. And they was grinding and hustling. Makes no sense.
Masculine, certainly some of you are, but that's not the reason all the Southern belles and the church girls are single too. What's their excuse? Feminist? White women pioneer fourth wave feminism in this country, and black men can't get enough of them. Same goes for the overweight convo. Give me a break. And standards way too high, that one is a joke. If you think black women's standards are higher than Asian women and Latino women and white women, I don't think that we're living on the same planet.
Yeah, we're clearly not living on the same planet because, yes, I've heard outrageous claims. Like previously, I just did a video where a black woman thought that Rick Ross, since he's rich, should be giving his children a richer lifestyle because they just deserve to have a rich lifestyle because they were created. And don't get me wrong, he's giving her $11,000 to take care of his children. That is more than enough. I have 9 siblings, and I had 2 parents in the household, and we were nowhere close to that type of money. But me and my brothers and sisters and my mother and my father had made some great memories growing up with what little we had or what we had. Regardless, we were grateful. And to hear that, yeah, there's a lot of Latino women and white women that don't really have, or Asian women that don't really have that super duper high standard of, oh, he has to make 6 figures plus. But they're still grateful with with a man that makes minimum wage. They're still grateful for that. And they're both working. They're still grateful for that. And they'll be in relationships with those type of men. Black women, on the other hand, would have a hard time being in relationships with those type of dudes. Hard time. Because they want a Birkin bag.
Obviously, we're doing something wrong here, but it can't just be that all of you are terrible partners. In fact, I'm certain that isn't the case. While black couples have the highest rate of divorce of all couples of all races, when they split up and marry interracially, black men's divorce rates go up even higher, which is kind of normal. Interracial couples have higher divorce rates than couples of the same race, but you are an exception to that rule. When you marry interracially, your divorce rate goes down. Maybe this problem isn't all you, and yet you're being inundated with messaging that says that it's mostly you. With dating results this bad for black women, the advice that you're getting on dating needs to be examined, as well as the people who are giving it. Recently, there's been a lot of talk coming from black men about what a high value man is and how to get one and how to keep one. With black men being socially and economically on the bottom in almost every country in the developed world, I don't know how the irony got lost on them when they think they're the experts on the topic of high value. The dating coaches that you all know.
Let me just say this. The reason why our marriages or we're not supposed to be the expert, because we're not. I'm not gonna hold you. Black men, we are not. We are not the experts. But black women, y'all surely aren't either. Y'all on the same boat as us. We, black women and black men, I'm talking to all of us real quick. We all haven't had good examples of a stable, dutiful relationship from our parents. I haven't even had it myself. So how the freak are we all gonna know it all? We're not. So you have to do research. And when you actually do the research on the actual couples, the Latinas, the Asians, the whites, when you do research on their relationships and how they stay together, you start understanding what they actually value compared to about what we actually value. And that's the real problem in this whole thing.
Know and love aren't necessarily dusty, but most of them don't have any professional qualifications either, and this is still the most divorced demographic in the country, dating gurus.
And to be honest, let's be real here. Even if you have professional qualifications, you're still not perfect. I don't understand why people should be going to other people and be thinking that, oh, he's not married or she's not married. Why should I be listening to them when they don't even have the qualifications? Nobody's freaking perfect. You still listen to your mama and they're not perfect. You still have friends that they're not perfect. Nobody's freaking perfect. So I don't know what you're gonna get. Even if you get a person that has the qualification and is married, that person is still not perfect.
Included. The black men giving out relationship advice are often never married or divorced 2 and even 3 times, and some with divorces pending perhaps. But their rhetoric isn't about relationships or marriages or happy homes. It's about them. It's a sounding board for their pathology, their demands, a manifesto on what women need to do to make sure that black men get everything that they want. And
This is somewhat true. But on the other hand, aren't we also providing everything that y'all want? In the process of giving what we want? Because at times we will provide everything that y'all want, and then y'all say y'all won't want it, and then switch it up and say you do want it, and then we don't get nothing in return. We don't even get stableness. So therefore, we act unstable as well. The irony.
you, black women, a group of people whose self-esteem is generally tied up in whether or not you get picked, are the perfect audience for that kind of message. Now, I made a video about Kevin Samuels a couple of weeks ago, and if you want to know more about what makes him a terrible dating coach, check it out after this. But I really just want you to understand for this video one thing about Kevin Samuels, the YouTuber who claims to know what wealthy men are thinking. And that thing is the approach that Kevin Samuels takes when he's giving out some of his quote-unquote advice.
I'm sorry, you're 5'8"?
I'm 5'8".
You're about the size of Emmett Smith or Barry Sanders was. You're running back size.
Okay.
You can hit the A gap like a motherfucker.
Yeah, all right. I accept
So don't
that.
come in here and talk about what men should not be able to do when they got to accept somebody who can run out the power I.
If you ever
This is a funny thing. She wants to get on this dude's approach, right? But you know what? It's really funny. Y'all, black women, y'all love insulting black men. Y'all love it. Y'all love it. Y'all love doing it straight in their face, too. So I don't understand what the flip y'all so surprised about. Why is he not cordial or nice or anything? Y'all do the same doggone thing when just a dude wants to talk to you. What the heck? Like, come on, get out of here with that mess, please.
talk to a black man about Kevin Samuels, they'll usually say Kevin Samuels is a jerk, but his message is good, or he's a little mean, but he's entertaining, like Simon Cowell or Gordon Ramsay, but he's still right most of the time. I assure you that it's a little more sinister than that.
Sinister? Really?
In the paper from Cal State University titled Gender and Survival versus Death in Slasher Films, Margaret O'Brien and Gloria Cowan talk about the death by sex trope in horror films. They explained that historically in horror films, the girl who has sex in the movie usually dies first, and the most promiscuous girl gets a horrible, bloody, slow, painful death. The final girl, or the virgin, will get kicked around and beaten up for everyone's viewing pleasure, but ultimately she'll survive. Her friends, not so much.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex.
This is slowly changing, but why have so many horror movies followed this formula in the past? Well, the truth is, a lot of men like to see violence towards women, and this is one of the only socially acceptable ways to experience that. More specifically, men like to see violence towards women who they see as slutty. There is a need to see women punished for what they consider to be shameful behavior for a woman to engage in. This is why Kevin's show is so popular. It's more than just a little bit of schadenfreude that men get when they see a woman humiliated publicly. There is a thirst for blood that needs to be quenched. You city girl listening, hot girl summer having harlots need to be stoned. You need to pay for your sins. You need to be punished. How silly of you to call into his show thinking that you're actually going to get something of value out of it, or even worse, that you have a point that you're going to successfully get across to these men who paid to see you stoned to death. Make no mistake about it, you are the bull in the Colosseum, and Kevin Samuels is the matador making a show out of you, asking you questions about your dress size and age, building up tension until he cuts your head off. And these dusties are paying top dollar to see that happen. But apparently underneath all of that, Kevin Samuels is supposed to have some really good points, which I could only sum up as high-value men want women who are young, beautiful, thin, and submissive with no previous children, of which most of you won't qualify, and thus you won't be able to get a high-value man, so you need to settle before you hit the wall. Of course, that won't explain how she married a millionaire, or how she married a millionaire, or how she married a millionaire. And Kevin Samuels is never going to admit to you that most high-value men are not married to trophy wives, and even if he had the real formula to get a high-value man, he would never give it to you, because his constituents did not pay all those super chats to see him do that. They paid for validation that you fornicating whores who rejected them in high school will never get a happy ending.
Whores don't.
See, I'll let this dude
Get a second chance.
Now,
okay, I'm gonna admit that's actually true. That's honestly true. Some dudes still haven't gotten over the fact that certain women have rejected them, or whatever the case may be, and then they will go be hoes for something else. But she just brushed over the fact that that is not acceptably right. What women be doing is not acceptably right. Because within doing so, saying that, oh, they won't be slutty to the certain dude that they want, and that dude ends up wanting to stone them, but then they go be slutty for other dudes and end up trying to go back to the good guy that they should have had in the first place. But she just brushed over the fact like, oh, them hot girl, city girl, summer harlots should get stoned to death. Pause. I do not condone that. I'm just saying that it's not sociably right for that to even happen. For y'all to be going around here opening y'all legs to every dude that you guys see fit, or you're not sure that sees fit, but then y'all go back to the guy that, you know what I'm saying, he's a good guy, you know what I'm saying. You go back to him talking about, hey, can you take me in? When all the other guys have already dug you out and tossed you to the curb. Come on now. But I'm not saying the guys that are like doing that to women, just giving Kevin Samuels money just so he can roast them women so bad and make them feel bad for being harlots in the past. That's not gonna get nobody anywhere, personally, with me. But overall, I'm just like, it's still not good. Y'all women are wasting your doggone time. And to those women that got married, those were only 3 women that got married to millionaires, and it was somewhat socially economical. But understand this, those 3 women got married to those men based off of what they bring. Trust me and believe me, they had an adult conversation before they got married. Before that man got on one knee and proposed, they had a conversation. Best believe that. They didn't just hop into, oh, we're getting married. Just spontaneously. Nope. 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 It was a conversation. Best believe that. They didn't just like, oh, we're just going to hop into it and we're going to see what happens. Heck no. No.
Not all black male dating coaches are as aggressive as Kevin Samuels on the surface. Many of them seem to come in peace. They preach black love and might even sprinkle a little bit of faith on top for good measure. But when you just sit and listen to them talk, you realize that what's being discussed is more of the same. I'll give you an example. I sped this clip up of Anthony O'Neill and Stephen Speaks for brevity, but if you want to get a better listen, feel free to slow down the playback speed on this video.
What advice do you have for men who want to understand women? Then I want you to come back around. What advice do you have for women who want to understand men?
Okay. So there's so much we can say here. Okay. But what I feel that I need to say is men need to first understand. Essentially, we have to decide what kind of life we want to live. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm seeing a lot of men say, well, women nowadays want 50-50, so I'm going to do this. Like, you're responding to what you feel is the times of the day. And instead of focusing on creating the life that you want and you desire. Yeah. And in doing so, you're essentially letting women, society, other people lead and dictate to you. As a man, you need to lead in your life. You need to lead and be an example to others of what you want and stand strong in your beliefs. Stop going with the wind right now and how other people are moving. Who cares how other people move? How you want to move? You know what I'm saying? So to me, like, that's where men need to begin. They need to really figure themselves out. Okay. And really make sure they're setting themselves up for what they desire. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
So you're talking about life for myself. I need to have a clear vision on where I'm going in life and what I'm doing.
Yes.
And then include her into that. Am I hearing that correct?
Absolutely. Okay. Number one, understand women love men with a plan, with vision, with purpose. All right. And so, and when you don't have those things, you're so easily swayed, not just by one woman, but by many women. It's very easy to get distracted and fall off track. So you need to find that path in your life first, which is going to help you stand strong in what you need to do, but also seek more clearly who fits into your life. I always say, if you don't know where you're headed, you don't know who belongs on that path with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, figure it out. And I think as men, we have not been taught how to figure this out. We've just, go get a job, go get an education. No, what is your purpose? What do you need to be doing in life? And let's now focus in and lock into that. And then yes, everything else can start to fall into place.
He's going. Now, I'm gonna flip it on here because I gotta play devil's advocate. Ladies are saying, but what about me? What if I know where I'm going? Does that dictate where and what man should be in my life? Because you have the woman out there who say it's not all about the man and what he does. It's like we're working together. Like, should I know where I'm going as well?
She should know where she's going as well. Yes. But again, sometimes things hit me spiritually. I gotta say,
come on, man, come on. I just want to set you up. Answer the question.
I think the problem is a lot of women will say, well, I know what I'm trying to do with my life. No, you know what your parents told you to do. You know what society pushed you to do. You know what your fear of not relying on a man pushed you to do. But you have not figured out who you are and walked in your truth. And so now what happens is, in one example, you become this career woman, you pursue this career, you become super successful, but at the core of who you are, you want a family, you want a man, you want a relationship, but you become so detached from that. And now you hide behind your work, you hide behind God. And now when that man comes, you don't know how to even come together with his life because you want him to be convenient to you and where you are, because it's too hard to now have to dismantle what you have built, but you built it on your foundation, not God, not purpose, not on the direction you were supposed to be moving in.
I could spend an hour pointing out everything wrong with this clip, but on a macro level, I want to point out that these are 2 black men discussing what both men and women need to be doing to find relationships. You'll notice that these men feel qualified to have these conversations with or without women in the room. It's because they believe they know exactly what you need. You'll see Hafiz from the Roommates podcast do this all the time.
When a woman is really in love with a man, when she really respects him, she becomes utterly dependent upon him.
But in this clip, when Anthony is about to offer up your perspective for you, he says, let me play devil's advocate.
I gotta play devil's advocate.
Interesting choice of words. I'm sure Anthony isn't intending to be controversial here, but playing the devil's advocate is a debate practice. It's when you argue from a position that you don't agree with so that the other person can come up with more arguments to help you dismantle that position. Anthony is asking Stefan to shut down your position, a position he assigned to you, because there's no women in the room. He's asking for a rebuttal. Why would anyone need to play devil's advocate in a conversation that's meant to find common ground between 2 people? Because that's not the goal. There is a clear protagonist and an antagonist in this scenario. On the one hand, there's the protagonist, the black man, who's on a journey to find his path and purpose in a modern day dating culture that wants him to be equal to women or 50-50. And then there's you, the woman who's who's already on her path, already knows what she wants, that's an obstacle to him, that's threatening to blow him off course with her wants and needs. Yes, you black women, you should know where you're going, but is that really where you want to go? No, it's pressure from your parents. It's your fear of relying on men. You don't know what you really want. You don't know who you really are. You don't want success. You want a man. Sure, other women can have a life of their own and a purpose, but since you want these men, black men, and these men don't have a purpose or a plan, you can't have one either, because these men need to be in charge. You are the antagonist, the obstacle, the threat that needs to be neutralized. Now, in a vacuum, I have no real problems with Anthony and Stefan's point of view that women don't really need a plan, but really just need to pursue starting a family. It's the point of view of a traditional patriarchy. You give up your life goals, dreams, and plans so that a man can be in charge, and in exchange, that man makes sure that you never have to leave the house and go work for someone else again. It's not a bad arrangement if your dream is to be a housewife, and for some of you, it's better than what you have going on right now. But don't be fooled. That's not the arrangement that these men are discussing. Listen to Anthony's response to Kevin Samuels after Kevin makes a video saying that men need to embrace the patriarchy and pay for everything.
My mom makes more money than my father. But my mom still respects my father as the head of the home. My mom still respects my father as the man of the house.
So not only does his mother have a career, but she makes more money than his father. And instead of pointing out that his mother still loves his father, or that they still enjoy each other's company, or that they still get along, Anthony wants you to know that his father is still in charge. That his mother lets him be the head, regardless of the fact that his father is not keeping up his end of the bargain of a traditional patriarchal arrangement. And that is what these videos tend to be about, to make sure that the men are still in charge, whether they are walking in their purpose or not, whether they can afford to pay for everything or not. These dating conversations are not about helping you find love. They are to ensure that even though the black men listening have collectively failed to hold up their end of the patriarchal bargain, they are still in charge. And women who absorb this message, thinking these men are going to give them the keys to a happy relationship, become consumed and ultimately become male identified. You know these women.
I know I didn't talk for a cool minute, but I had to let that one ride. Bro, there is a reason why men are the main ones that make sure everything is together. Because you gotta understand, money is a piece to the puzzle to where you build it at. Most of the time, I'm gonna just say most of the time, not like 100% of the time, but most of the time, women don't know where they need to be putting their money. Sometimes women be making more money than us as men, but then they don't know where to put it. Therefore, the man that usually is in charge knows what to do with it. And let's say a woman does know what to do with it. She's always consoling into her man first to make sure it's 100% the right move. Because women, if we play off of y'all confidence, we'll 9 times out of 10 fail. Because y'all confidence is this thin. But since us men, we have to create our confidence is like this big. Y'all, sometimes when we just don't say nothing or we just focus into something, y'all be wondering, does he still love me? When clearly we're still around and we're clearly just working, y'all still be wondering if we still love you. Yeah, confidence is thin as paper. But regardless, that's why. But if y'all in charge, I'm telling you, if y'all were in charge, all we'll be doing with money is going on vacations, going shopping. That's literally all we'll be doing with the most money that you make. We would not be putting it in proper investments to make sure the children are good. If anything, y'all put it in a savings account. Y'all wouldn't make any profitable investments into stocks. Like you pretty much, like us men, we think of like buying a stock for our children. But y'all would just buy a stock and put some in for the children and put some in for some fun. That's why we don't let y'all lead. Y'all lead with emotion and trying to have fun. we lead on trying to get things done. Because if we don't get things done, fun never happens. But y'all women understand what y'all need to do instantly. Y'all will instantly make that money to get it done, that fun done right then. We'll be patient on the fun. We'll build it up so we can have longevity, a long, successful fun. While y'all will just get that fun for just a moment. That's what y'all spend y'all money on. And that's what it really is. That's why men usually need to lead the household. But some men aren't capable of doing that, honestly. Because we haven't seen true leadership in our own house. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to say that.
All of their perspectives hold men at the nucleus. They might refer to other women as females or say that they don't keep female friends because insert stereotype. They're in clubhouse rooms trying to hold women accountable. They perform as men's attack dogs on these stupid panels. The pick-me's, the mammies, women who have lost all connection with their own womanhood.
That's disrespectful to your own woman. And some of these women do not be trying to bash y'all. I've heard some of these women actually talk. They be trying to help. But the first thing you do is call them pick-me's. You're already bashing them. Now, there's some women out there that actually deserve to be bashed, like hood rats. But to women that just are trying to get on accord with men, they get bashed and be called pick-me's. And yes, what she's about to say, I'm about to break it down.
They believe that if they completely reject the feminine and appease the masculine,
they are not completely rejecting the masculine. They have to act feminine to appease the masculine. So what you just said didn't make no doggone sense.
They will get chosen. They rarely do, and when they do, it's not an arrangement to their benefit, because men aren't trying to get women to become male identified because they're attracted to these walking masculinas. They do it because when too many women get together, there's a certain magic, a power that they cannot fight. And if too many women are congregating in secret, well, then you bitches gotta go.
Look, no, that's not how it works at all. Honestly, it's not even about being against one another in this sense, but truly, like, just know, feminine women will always attract a man. And on top of that, what she said about them getting tossed around still, even after they become a pick-me, it's not because sometimes people can be hiding in sheep's clothing. A wolf can be hiding in sheep's clothing, pretty much. So they could be talking all that talk, and then when actually it gets into the nitty-gritty of what they actually need to do, nope, nada. They don't have a single clue on what they need to do. Because they know kinda what they need to do, but then they still get tossed around because they actually haven't experienced it or haven't had the discussion. I'm a grill it in with the discussion points because she hasn't been grilling it in. But I'm gonna break down why the dating game is not working for man and woman. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
They want you to be male identified so they can remain in charge, but they still want you to be feminine and girly, something that gives them the best of both worlds, but is almost impossible and blasphemous for you to do. But who better to help you than the strawberry letter pen pal himself, Steve Harvey? The book Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man is Steve Harvey offering women a look into the psyche of a man in the hopes that you will do the work necessary to fulfill as much of his wish list as possible, in the hopes that you'll learn how to throw that ass in a circle while quoting scripture and making a sandwich. Comment down below if you want me to do a book analysis for this in the Mahogany Mastermind. But there's two things that Steve Harvey mentions that I want you to take note of. The first is his chapter called Sports Fish versus Keepers that says that men separate women into two categories, side chicks and wife material. We already know this. This is the classic Madonna whore dichotomy that men can't seem to get over. But then Steve elaborates to say that
what you mean man can't seem to get over? This is something that we were built with. We were actually designed Like when I was like a little boy in middle school, you know what I'm saying? And I saw the girl that was out here just sleeping with every dude. I thought it was disgusting. I instantly thought it was disgusting when you see it on TV. But then when you see that pure girl that's just loyal to one dude, it's the most great thing I've ever seen. We're literally built and designed to see it like that. Period. Because that's just like y'all womb is like soil. Okay? And on one soil, you want to plant a seed, right? And it could be fruit, vegetables, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to use fruit for this example. You can have apples. One dude could be planting apples in you. One dude could be planting grapes in you. One dude could be planting oranges in you. But in one section of the soil, if you know anything about gardening or farming, you have one section of one fruit and then another section of another fruit and another section of another fruit. And let's just say you just have one section. Just saying that we're doing monogamous marriage, not polygamous. But you have one section. And that one section is filled with only apples. That's what man wants. That man wants to plant apples on that garden. He plants apples. But he's not going to mix it up with having apple trees and then having grapevines coming out of it and an orange tree in the middle. No. That's what your womb is. And when you let other dudes plant grapevines and oranges when I wanted to plant apples, that's disrespectful. But how can a man really be disrespectful for planting apples in one area and planting oranges in another one? He's not messing up what he planted in you, and he's still taking care of you. This is just for the guys that's polygamous. But to the guys that's monogamous, we want a straight line of apple trees, right? But then y'all will, by being harlots or going out here being 3 or 4s, doing whatever, y'all would have our apples and then have an orange growing out the side and then have a pomegranate growing in the middle. We like, the freak is this? And then we seeing celery all the way at the end and we like, huh? That's why we don't like that. It's that simple. It's not something they just seem to not be able to get over. How could we get over it when that's when it's being looked upon as? We can't take that soil seriously. We can't. Now, granted, if the first 2 sections happen to be oranges, but the rest of the line is clear, yes, we can plant the rest of our apples on there. But if you're constantly you have 2 oranges, then you have 2 pomegranates, then you have 2 grapevines, we're like, or you just have one of each, we're like, what the heck? That questions your loyalty. That's what it does. When you're willing to have another fruit, another seed go into you. That's what it does.
That it's your responsibility to make sure that he doesn't treat you like a sports fish.
I know all the mistakes women allowed me to make.
I'm not even gonna hold you. When he said that sounds stupid. I agree with her grilling on Steve Harvey. That is stupid. A woman allowed you to make a mistake, homie? Freak out of here.
And I put them in a book for you. So, look.
I like that part. Women allowed you to make the mistake.
Yeah, women allowed me to make a lot of these mistakes.
Or maybe
so it's their fault?
Or maybe you just shouldn't be a jerk, Steve Harvey. Maybe men, I'm not talking about you specifically, but
absolutely.
maybe men just shouldn't be jerk and do
and they
jerk-like behavior.
But men can be taught proper behavior. Men can be required to have proper behavior. And that falls the responsibility on a woman. If you don't want to be treated like a jerk, then don't allow a guy to treat you like a jerk.
What Gail doesn't understand is that to many men, especially black men, his morality is your responsibility.
And that is no. I'm all for treat somebody how you want to be treated, but no. No, if you make a mistake, own up to that, man or woman. Own up to it. Don't put it on nobody else. I don't know like that. We don't rock with that over here. If you rock with that, unsubscribe, man. But if you don't rock with that, you know what I'm saying? You rock with everybody being accountable for their own actions. Subscribe, homie.
If he makes mistakes, it's because you allowed him to. If he treats you poorly, it's a reflection of your moral failing, not his. So if women are responsible for making sure that men don't treat them like sporting fish in a community of women that have been where are the men supposed to be in charge? Where is the leadership? It shouldn't be hard to understand how a group of men who have never been in a position of real leadership could ever steer you wrong with bad takes on relationships. Somehow they manage to do so. Leaders are supposed to take the lion's share of accountability, but here they are trying to foster it off onto you. Here's Steve Harvey trying to make the collective mistreatment of black women the fault of black women.
But didn't you just talk about how some women want to be and you didn't say it, but you made it like an undertone that we were trying to take charge, but you essentially make it seem like it's bad for us to take charge. So you're saying that both of us should have part of the lion's share, which most of women don't want to take that responsibility, let's be real. And I'm sorry, it sounds good on paper that you want women to take some of that lion's share, but they just never will.
I'm not surprised at all. The next one is his chapter on cheating. For the love of God, I don't understand why so many women are obsessed with understanding why men cheat, but Steve does a good job telling the truth. Men cheat because they can. They cheat because the opportunity presents itself and they can do it usually without getting emotional. Steve admits that he's never met a man that didn't cheat, and the data shows that black men cheat significantly more than men of other races. Steve also says that most men can't go more than a month without sex before they start looking for it elsewhere. He just casually waves away the fact that most men will break their wedding vows as just being par for the course. And he doesn't really offer up any consolation for black women except to say, don't take it personally. I don't know if this is why Steve Harvey's been divorced 3 times, but I'm sure it doesn't help one's marriage to believe that you don't have to be a good husband in order to think of yourself as a good man. When you accept that these men believe that they are allowed to pursue their own interests inside and outside of a relationship with you, when you accept that they believe that they don't actually have to be good partners in order to be good men, when you accept that they believe that even if they don't hold up their end of the patriarchal bargain, they still deserve to be in charge, and when you accept that they believe that you are responsible for making sure that they have good morals and treat you with dignity and respect, and that they are not at fault for taking advantage of you, you will start to understand that you don't owe them shit. There's not so much of a problem with what Steve Harvey says. It's really what he doesn't say here that I find to be interesting. What all of them fail to say that I find to be interesting. Steve Harvey is going to tell you that men cheat because they can have sex without emotion, but he's never going to give you permission to do the same or show you how to override your own emotions attached to sex. He'll tell you that most men cheat, but he'll never show you how to make sure that you're properly compensated for your pain and suffering when they do. He's never going to tell you that if your man gets a month behind on the bills, that it's okay for you to go and find yourself a zaddy to pay for your manis and petties outside of the relationship. None of these men are going to tell you that you're probably single because the biggest filter that you put on your search for a partner is requiring that he has to be black. They're not going to say that you've been in piss poor relationships with men for years because you never pursued what was in your best interest, because you put things like race ahead of class, and that you put all of your energy into trying to secure a man instead of trying to secure the bag. They're not going to tell you that if you open up your option to men of other races, that you have a significantly better chance of finding a man who is also on his purpose, like you are, and who can also afford to pay for everything. And they're never going to tell you that it's the men who need to change, and they don't have to change.
Okay, that sounded... that you're both on your purpose, you're both successful, but he pays for everything. Doesn't sound like you want to take most of the lion's share. But anyway, she's pretty much trying to advocate out, like dating outside of races so you can have a successful marriage. And let me break down the why. that is, and I'm done listening to her talk because right now she's about to go on that woman empowerment, talk about men don't need to change. Yes, we do. And women, y'all need to too. And what do we all need to change that I think is common? Duty. Conversation about duty. It's a simple doggone conversation. I let this video play out for over an hour because this video is very important and I wanted to get this across to every doggone body. If you want a serious relationship, understand what you're bringing in and your duty to it. It's an everyday thing. I'm gonna tell you straight up, marriage and relationships are boring. There's no excitement. There's nothing different, really. No, it's boring. I'm gonna tell you like it is. It's not supposed to be all about love either. That comes really later down the line, because love shows when you fulfill that duty to that person. I've said this in the previous video and I'm saying it again. Love shows when you show duty to that person. Period. I do not advocate for trying to do everything in your power to please a man, woman. I'm not advocating that at all. What I'm simply trying to say is, understand that yes, you are the main factor in all of this. But if you're not fulfilling your duty to him and he's not fulfilling your duty to you, why y'all moving forward? Why y'all even tearing? Why is he even digging your guts out? Why is he even inserting his thing-a-lang inside of you? But most of y'all don't want to have the doggone grown conversation. Y'all thinking that it's supposed to magically happen like a freaking Disney fairy tale or a romance novel. No, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna happen like that. That's a doggone fantasy. We're talking about reality. Reality, people have freaking conversations and stick to what that conversation was about in their actions. That's really what it's built upon. But men and women, we're all scared about it. You tell a woman that you want something serious, you tell her what you want and everything. She's like, I don't know if I'm ready to be committed to him like that. I need to get to know him a little bit more. I'm gonna tell you straight up, commitment is very simple. It's built upon regularly basic things. Doing what you bring to the table, period. And what do you bring to the table? A man brings provisioning. That's it. He brings really provisioning, love, and care and support. But that love and care part happens after he brings that provisioning. And for a woman, she can do the same thing, but hers is really brought upon what she can amplify, what she can give a boost to. Meaning cleaning the house, food, etc. Making sure everything is done. That's a boost. Because usually, as men, when we by ourselves, we have to put in the work and then make sure everything is done and then relax. But women, they can make sure everything's done while we're doing things. You know what I'm saying? That's really their biggest role. And after that, then y'all have y'all lovey-dovey time and vacations or whatever. But those things are fulfilled first every day, 365 times, every day, every year. And that's how pretty much every relationship back in the day always worked. But yet, y'all women think that, oh, it's the new era. It's the new era. We have technology now. We are more free now. We have more rights now. So things should change. Clearly, it's not working because y'all making videos like this, and I'm making videos like this. Because so clearly, it's not working. You can't change what us human beings were designed to be and act when we've been acting like that for years. Whether we like it or not, you can't change it. But yet, y'all women are trying so hard to change it and try to make us men accept it when we're just not going to accept it. You got to fulfill your duty. And that's what I'm saying. You got to start fulfilling your duty and start having these type of adult conversations before you even let that man insert his ding-a-ling inside of you. But yet y'all let them insert y'all dinglings inside of him, inside of you, my bad, pause, without that commitment. Y'all let them do it all the doggone time, so they don't even know what it is. They just growing with the flow because you already let them have it. And then when you keep it from them without giving them the true reasoning, without sitting down and having a doggone conversation, when you give them to them in that aspect, when you don't give it to them in that aspect, you just going with the flow and just seeing if he can wow you so he can open your legs. We not with that either. So it's either you're gonna have the conversation or not. But the reason why y'all afraid to have that conversation, because y'all not willing to have the conversation yourself. Y'all think it's supposed to be going with the flow, seeing if y'all vibe. I hate it when people say vibe. That's the biggest problem. Y'all over here trying to vibe more than have a serious relationship. That's what's messing up the dating market. Y'all want a dude to run game and tell you sweet nothings in your ear to make it seem like it's true. And y'all act like, oh, we don't know y'all game. We know y'all game, bro. Y'all attracted to the same dude. The dude that's ambitious and focused on his duty. That's what y'all are attracted to, period. But if y'all don't have it yourselves and y'all feel insecure about that, or y'all do have it but y'all not sure if he's just rolling games with y'all, that's what it is. The uncertainty and the unsureness, because y'all have made it this way. Because y'all have been so free, now y'all thinking y'all can change the way we move, and you really can't. You really can't. And to the men, I'm sorry, you just gonna have to fulfill your duty and put your duty first before women. And that's the biggest problem. Us black men, we never grew up seeing a stable thing. And I'm not trying to put it on our parents or anything, but I'm just saying, like, we never seen something stable, a stable relationship where a man is fully staying focused on his duty and not going out messing with some other chick. Like, literally, your duty should be focusing on what you need to work on to make sure everything's provided in the house, and then your wife and your child when you get home. There should be no room for no other chick, but somehow there's always that other chick. And that's only due to the fact because of a woman probably flirting with him, and then he's like, I could probably get away with this one and go take a piss real quick. And then he ends up keep on taking the piss because he likes it. And then that woman, and then one day he's like, okay, I'm done doing it. Let me go back and focus. And then she's gonna get mad and go tell the wife, and then the wife, you already know what happens then. So really, it's just about us black men. We're not having focus on what's really important. Our children, I wouldn't say really our wife, but really our children are our main importance, and our family. Pretty much just the family in general is our main importance after our duty. But we always find something to distract us after our duty that distracts us from our children and our women, because it's the same thing over and over and over again. Repeated. I'm telling you, bro, for a marriage to last 40 years plus, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Trust me. So it gets boring real quick. So the man ends up getting boring and the woman ends up getting boring. That's for women cheat. Women cheat at almost the same rate as men. Y'all all end up getting bored. And therefore y'all break our commitment because it gets boring. Nobody really talks about that. Marriages and relationships are boring, but yet everybody wants them. But they don't know what they actually have to sacrifice. And they're sacrificing that excitement. Why do you think y'all women like romance novels so much? It's always the same tone. This dude is giving you, spitting game and making you, wowing you, and then you having something with him, and then magically y'all just end up being a perfect match, and then y'all end up getting together. But then y'all always want that same excitement, so you'll keep repeating it with different dudes, because a different dude is just a different scenario. Just like how it's always a different romance movie, it's a different scenario in those movies, but it's the same tone. And for us guys, we just keep on going around here thinking that, oh, another coochie. I haven't had some different coochie in a minute. Matter of fact, I only had one coochie. Let me go ahead and try this one. We just keep on forgetting our duty. Period. That's why in our marriages we don't have that. And that's another reason why in other races, when you women go date other races, and when we go date other races, the duty is different. Yes, we still end up cheating because we end up that urge to go get to bust another one and another chick. That's irresistible to us at times. But then for the women, it's really easy for y'all to stay committed. It's not that hard. Therefore, when y'all go over to the other side, it's pretty easy because those men already know what they have to do. They know it's going to be a boring session. They already know. And they already know that they put in their duty because they had their grandfathers tell them, and they seen it with their fathers. They had their fathers tell them, and they seen it with their fathers. So they already know what they get. Whereas in our community, we always hearing about granddad cheating. We always hearing about our fathers cheating. Telling you, it's just about what we pretty much were brought up on. And after we get brought up on that, we think we're just supposed to accept it. Some of the women do too. But it's really all about the duty. Having that sit down conversation and be like, hey, I want you. Let's figure out and let's come to an arrangement about what we need to complete in our duties in this relationship. Now, everybody's not willing to do that because, yeah, it sounds good on paper. And then when you do it, you still get cheated on. That's why I'm just saying that right now, men and women need to understand this part of duty. So we get this duty done, then you understand that relationships are going to be boring. They're going to get tiring. But you still got to fulfill that duty because you care about that person. That's love. Duty to a person and willing to get bored with that person is true love. Not freaking always happy and excitement. Nope, there's going to be just plain out boring times. It's the same thing over and over and over again, just like the grind. So, ladies, it's either choose the grind or choose being bored with the grind because it's the same thing over and over again, or choose being bored with the man because that's the same thing over and over again too. But y'all can't have both. I'm sorry. Because if you have that career, you ain't gonna be able to have children. Because who's gonna be taking care of your career? Not the children. If you have children. But that's the point of sitting down and having that conversation. You let that guy know, like, hey, I'm not willing to have any children. I like my career. I'm willing to be with you forever, but it's just gonna be me and you in the relationship, no children, and just us focus on our careers and completing our duties to each other, just without, children. And you gotta see if the dude's down with that. But then he still may cheat. And then also on top of that, the woman may cheat too. Y'all might get bored. Y'all always understand that boring factor is always going to be in the relationship, no matter what. You are always going to be bored. Period. But men can't accept that and women can't accept that. So here we are. We got dating. That's why dating is created. Because men and women cannot accept the fact that in a relationship you'll have to be bored. So they keep trying to date. They keep trying to do different things to exude that boredness. It's always going to be there, man. Ma'am. It's always going to be there. It's never going anywhere. You might as well accept being bored. If you want a relationship with anyone, I don't care if you are straight, bi, gay, understand that the relationship is going to get boring. Period. But you have a desire and love, just like you have a desire and love to grind, you have the desire and love to fill that duty no matter how boring it gets. Same thing. Understand that. And once you understand it, it'll be good. I know I let this video play out for a whole hour, but I had to get this message out there. Relationships are boring. Accept it. It's your boy Lazarus, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'm out. Deuces.
Yeah. Yeah.